Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. So Teen Mom Family Reunion, it is a new series that is on MTV, kind of revamping Teen Mom, I guess you could say. So it aired last Tuesday. Today is the following Tuesday, so we have a new episode coming on tonight, and I will watch it and I will do another recap probably tomorrow. So I gave my opinions on the first episode, and I'm not the only one that gave my opinions and had thoughts on the first episode. Kail Lowry did as well, and Kail Lowry did what Kail Lowry does, and she made her opinions and her thoughts on the episode known on her podcast. So if you guys follow the podcast, Kail has her Coffee Combos podcast, and then she has Baby Mama's No Dramas. And on her podcast, she often talks about things surrounding her life. She's not scared to talk about things, going on with Javi or people that she's having drama with. She don't really shy away from that. And she didn't in this instance. The first episode, there was a lot of drama between Briana, who is Kail's enemy, as well as Ashley. So it was Briana and Jade, and they kind of tag team Ashley, I guess you could say. And Kail had thoughts about that. I did as well. I will link my recap in the description box below if you guys want to check it out. But I had some pretty strong thoughts and feelings about that. I felt like Briana and Jade, they went in to this kind of ready to argue and fight with Ashley. Whereas Ashley, every time she spoke about the drama, she said, like, I'm over it. I'll apologize. Like, I probably owe them an apology, and I will do that. I don't want no drama. But, of course, drama popped off the very first episode. And Kail Lowry, she gave us her thoughts on the drama that took place in the first episode. So, on her Coffee Combos podcast last week, she gave us her thoughts and opinions on the drama. And she also said that she can no longer stand Jade. Now, her and Jade used to get along. Jade has been on her podcast before. Jade was on her podcast back in like 2019, and they seemed like they were fine. But now she reveals that she can no longer stand Jade. Kail told her listeners on her podcast, I wrote down, Jade is off the wall, and I can't stand her. She talks about how she felt like Jade and Briana teamed up on Ashley, and I kind of felt the same way. I really felt like they kind of teamed up on Ashley. They went in with like 4 people. It was Jade, her good friend, Briana, and Brittany. And it was only Ashley and Bar there. Like, there was nobody that was really gonna, Bar can't get up and be between the females, you know what I'm saying? And thankfully, though, Jade's friend and Briana's sister Brittany was sent inside, but had they still been out there, then it very well could have been like 4 against 1, but it was just 2 against 1. So during the episode, we saw things escalate between Jade and Ashley, as well as Briana and Ashley. Kail said on her podcast that she felt very early on that Briana and Jade arrived looking for a fight. She said, I felt the energy through the effing TV screen. Same. A lot of people, they're like, well, Kail has her drama and her beef with Briana. Yes, she does. But I ain't got no beef with Briana. And I felt it as well. Like, very early on, I was like, I think they're going to go and it's going to be drama. Like, I think they're going to go and they're not going to shy away from it. I feel like they may not try to make amends. They may be, like, very, like, just well with drama, So I felt it through the screen as well. So the fact that Kail is saying this, some people may say, well, Kail don't like Briana, so she's just saying that. I think I felt it as well. And if you guys also watching, you could like feel the energy just watching it on the screen, and you felt like Briana and Jade went there looking for a fight, let me know in the comment section below. Now, Kail says she was aggravated by Jade's actions during the mixer. She said, I wrote down on my notes that Jade needs to shut up. This was not about you. This was about Briana and Ashley. She just needed to let Briana handle her own crap for once. But then again, Briana's sister Brittany wasn't there, and Briana doesn't know how to handle anything without someone backing her up. I kind of felt the same way. Like, yes, that was the exercise. Even the life coach, like, commended Ashley and Briana. She's like, Briana, you yelled something. That was a problem, and that's what you were supposed to do. And Ashley, you took accountability, and that's something you were supposed to do. But, like, Jade, it wasn't your turn, girl. Like, Jade, if you wanted to say something about Ashley as well, then they were getting their problems worked out. So once their problems were worked out, Ashley apologized. Briana seemed to accept it. Things were going well. Briana could have went back in the line. You could have walked up and you could have said something. You know, you could have said, "Still F the fakeness, I'm not buying it." And then you could have turned around and you could have addressed Ashley and just said, "I'm not buying it." However you were feeling. But no, she just kind of bounced right on in when Briana was trying to deal with her situation. So I'm kind of like, yes, Kail, I agree. Jade, this was not about you. This was Briana and her issues with Ashley. They were getting them worked out, but yet you just jumped in it. You should have waited your turn. So once again, I'm going to agree with Kail here. Also, the fact that Kail, you know, talks about how Briana is never like just Briana. She's always got someone backing her up. In this instance, I feel like Briana knew that how Jade felt, and Jade would probably more than likely have her back if anything went down. So Kail also addressed the part of the episode in which the cast took part in the Scream therapy exercise, during which Briana took the shot at Ashley by calling her fake. Basically, Kail said that Briana and Jade's beef with their co-star Ashley is the only thing that bonded the two together. That because they both dislike Ashley, that's kind of why they become friends. I'm going to disagree with that, because if you guys remember when Jade had her surgery, she went to Florida to have her surgery with Dr. Miami, and Briana went there to be there for her, and Jade's mom had not come back with the medicine, and Sean was having a hard time because he was trying to take care of the baby and deal with Jade. So Briana was like, "You guys just go. I got her. She can come to my house." So I don't think that's the only thing that they bonded over. I do feel like Jade and Briana have a real friendship, and it's based out of the fact that Briana, she was there for Jade after her surgery. And I remember when those episodes were airing, and I was like, "That is awesome, Briana. That is awesome that you just jumped in there and you was like, girl, you can come to my house. Get away from the drama. You don't need this drama right now while you're trying to recover. You need to be somewhere where you can relax and you can let your body heal and not be stressed out." So I really commended Briana for that, and I really do think that Briana and Jade, their friendship, it comes from that, and it's not over their mutual dislike for Ashley. But that is something they have in common, so obviously something that they can understand each other with as well. But Kail said, she said, "That crap is so corny. I think they did. They ganged up on Ashley, and I think had I been there, I think that Briana would have screamed something about me." Probably so. Now, anyone that watches Teen Mom, they know that Briana and Kail, they have had issues for years. It kind of started, obviously, when Briana started dating Javi. Once Javi and Kail, they got a divorce. Javi hooked up with Briana. They dated for a little bit, and that's where Kail and Briana's problems started. And it really kind of came to a head this past June. Kail ended up filing a lawsuit against Briana because Briana claimed that Kail beat up her baby daddy, Chris. So Briana, she did this interview, and she also went on an Instagram live where she made several claims about Kail. She claimed that Kail got arrested. She claimed that Kail physically attacked Chris Lopez. She claimed that Kail broke in Chris Lopez's mother's house. So when Briana said all those things, Kail ended up filing a lawsuit against her. That lawsuit is still pending. So on Tuesday night's episode, after Kail heard Briana say that Ashley was fake because she was acting one way online, but then acting completely different in real life at the mixer at the reunion, Kail reminded her listeners that Briana recently wrote on Instagram about how much she had matured, only to send Kail a treadmill just a couple days later, which Kail took as Briana fat shaming her, essentially. Kail told her followers, she said, "This is the same person who, after this whole thing was filmed, and while this lawsuit was going on, she wrote an effing novel on Instagram talking about growth and change, only to send me a treadmill 5 days later." She said, "You sent me a treadmill 5 days after claiming to grow up and wanting to change. Like, you don't get to call Ashley out for something that you're doing yourself." And I get her there. I remember when that happened, because I made a video on that as well, where Briana was literally talking about growing, changing, things that happen now. It's not going to matter, you know, in a few years from now, and how she just wants to grow up. No drama. But even in that post, she kind of threw shade at Kail. I remember like, girl, you're throwing shade at Kail right now. So you're already starting drama in a post about not wanting drama anymore. And then the fact that you sent a treadmill to someone that you're enemies with after talking about no drama, growing up, growth, change, mature. Like, girl, no. No, I'm not believing it. I'm not buying it. So according to Kail in her podcast, she basically said that Jade probably would not have acted the way that she did if Briana hadn't have been by her side. She said, I don't think that Jade needed to step in at that point. It was not her turn. It was not her story. She didn't need to make it about her. I kind of agree there. I feel like if Briana wouldn't have been there and she didn't have her issues with Ashley and she wouldn't have brought that up, I don't know if Jade would have either. I think that Jade probably would have just kind of kept her mouth shut, maybe tried to keep her distance from Ashley, but I don't think she would have straight up called Ashley out. I don't know if Jade's made that way. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't see Jade as the type to really get in front of someone like Ashley and call her out. If you guys feel different, let me know in the comment section below. Now, Kail also addressed something else that was a deleted scene. So there was a deleted scene that was played on Instagram. Let's see, it was the Teen Mom Instagram page. Deleted scene basically where Briana discussed her relationship with Kail. Their complicated relationship, I guess you could say. In the clip, Briana blamed the complicated dynamic on their ongoing lawsuit and the fact that Kail was allegedly intimidated by her joining the cast of Teen Mom 2. Kail said that she had no issues with Briana joining the show, and Briana claiming otherwise is a complete lie and complete BS. She said, absolutely not. This is BS. And then Kail said, but y'all can run me my check for talking about me at all and filming it. Which I don't know if that's how it goes. Like, I don't know if just because she's being discussed, if she gets a check. I don't know. Kail went on to say, I didn't care that Briana was coming to Teen Mom 2. Why would I be intimidated by her? Like, literally intimidated by who? I'm not intimidated by anyone. After Kail's podcast went up, obviously Briana was not happy about it, and she had a few things to say as well. So she took to her Instagram on Friday to basically tell Kail to shut up. Oh, and to appreciate that treadmill and that she was not fat shaming her. And that if Kail felt like she was fat shaming her, then maybe it's because she's insecure, basically. So on Friday, she posted on her Instagram, she said, please do me a solid and stop talking about me. I haven't said a darn thing since the lawsuit, and I'm waiting for it to be over so I can speak my truth. You went ahead and you talked about me on different podcasts, and you lied about me doing something with Chris. Grow up. Stop being a weird see you next Tuesday. I say you didn't come to family reunion because you didn't want drama, but here you are. LOL. Briana then addressed the whole treadmill thing. After Kail got the treadmill, she filed some legal documents about it, saying that this was basically Briana fat shaming her. Also, she talked about it on her podcast, that she got it and she felt like she was being fat shamed by Briana. So Briana insisted that she didn't send the treadmill to make fun of Kail's body. Instead, she says she did it to suggest a new hobby to keep Kail busy. She said, money can't buy happiness, but learning how to love yourself will. Get in a better mindset and focus on something else instead of me. So I decided to gift you a treadmill. I know you are fantastic at running your mouth, so I thought your feet would run just as fast. Ooh, wow, that's a little bit of a burn. Wow, okay. I don't know who runs their mouth more though, Briana or Kail, because like, you guys remember the episode where Kail wasn't there? Had nothing to do with Briana. Episode plays that night. Everything is fine. Briana jumps on social media to talk about why Kail wasn't there. And then she goes after the other cast members as well. She talks about the fact that Ashley films in a rented house. Kail wasn't there because she's not real. So it's like, girl, you're not so innocent yourself. Don't act like Kail's the only one over here running her mouth, because you literally jumped on social media not too long ago, all because Kail wasn't in an episode. There was nothing going on. Kail wasn't in the episode, and you just decided to jump on and start some drama. So, I don't know. You run your mouth, so I thought your feet would run just as fast. Well, how fast are your feet running, Briana? You know what I'm saying? Are they keeping up? Anyways, Briana insists that she's in no position to fat shame anyone because she says, I am 150 pounds and I love every inch of my body. I don't need to fat shame anyone, especially knowing I could lose a few pounds myself. LOL, the gift was to reroute your focus. You can send it back if you want, and I'll go ahead and show you how to start loving yourself. Briana, how do you know Kail doesn't love herself? Just because she doesn't want your treadmill, that doesn't mean she don't love herself. She went on to say, learn to STFU. Please stop provoking me and playing the victim role and not telling the whole truth. Briana then insisted that if Kail felt like Briana was telling her she needed to lose weight, that stemmed from Kail being insecure about her weight. She said, I'm sorry that you felt like you were being fat shamed. Those insecurities are on loud. Leave me the F alone at Kail Lowry. So Kail hasn't responded yet, but I feel like it's coming. It's been a couple of days. But surely Kail's going to say something on her podcast about this, because this was pretty, I don't know. Once again, it's like Briana not trying to take accountability. Like, you sent a treadmill, you know how that was going to make Kail feel. If Kail would have sent you a treadmill, would you have took it as, oh, she's telling me that I need to pick up a hobby? Or would you take it as, oh, yep, she's calling me fat? I think any female, you know, that may be a little bit on the thicker side, especially if they've publicly talked about their issues with weight gain, I think any female would take it as you're fat shaming me. So, I don't know. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Are you guys team Briana on this one? Or are you guys team Kail? I'm a little team Kail. The thing is Kail is a part of Team Mom. So, yes, she's going to have thoughts and opinions of the show. The show aired. She has a podcast. That's the best place for her to give like her thoughts and opinions on the podcast, to talk about, you know, what went down. And that very first episode was such an explosive episode. The fight between Briana, Jade, and Ashley. She had opinions. So she spoke about the opinions, which she's entitled to do. And then she addressed what Briana said in a deleted clip. Briana's like, I don't talk about you. But it's like, first off, I'm talking about the show that you were just on and your drama with the other cast member. And then I'm discussing something that you said about me in a deleted clip. So yeah, I feel like if a deleted clip comes out where Briana is saying something about Kail, then Kail has every right to respond to it. I feel like that's only fair, right, you guys? You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like I said, whose team are you all? Team Kail, Team Briana, or Team no one, because they're just immature and they need to grow up? Leave me your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you haven't yet. Also, check me out on my other social media accounts. I'm going to start posting there more. I have a TikTok, Instagram, and a Facebook page that I'm just kind of starting up. So you guys go check those out. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.